trying to like get food. I'm like, oh, I was gonna start cooking. I was like, oh shit, I gotta be down there at 4:30.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
got three quotes.
I see you
I
stuffing
got
your
three
face.
quotes. Huh?
I see you stuffing your face pretty good.
Oh, I'm eating a trail mix right now. I need calories, brother,
Yeah.
in a major way. Drank some water, ate a protein bar. Now I'm snacking on trail mix. Getting ready to talk to you. Are we gonna record?
And we're already recording.
Oh, we are? Oh, this is wonderful. How organic. Hello to everybody.
Hey, Drew.
How's it going, man? I'll stop eating for a second.
Oh, it's going great. How are you doing? Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too. March 31st, 2024.
Yep,
Time's flying.
it is.
We're going to be talking about quotes today. We don't have really a book to review, except we are going to talk a little bit about Arete, Brian Johnson's massive anthology of
Yeah,
thoughts.
little tome.
You have it right there. Do you have a physical copy? Yeah. And then, yes, yes, we promote this book, Arete by Brian Johnson. And then I'm going to be sharing three quotes from a pretty dynamic guy named Thomas Plummer, who wrote a book called The Soul of a Trainer. And even though he talks about, because he owned gyms for like 25, 30 years, and he just shares, he writes all these nuggets of wisdom. You know, it's like the book of Proverbs in a way, but
Huh.
it's just life wisdom. And so, yeah, it's an amazing book. And I can't tell you how many notes I took out of it, but today I dug into that to get my quotes for you guys today.
Hey, hey, Drew. What book is that again? Who's the author?
The author's name is Thomas Plummer,
Okay.
Plummer, and the title of the book is The Soul of a Trainer.
Huh.
And I'm telling you, man, it's something worth having on the shelf.
Okay. No, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Soul of a Trainer, which is very fitting after the workout I just put in. We did the Spartan. Have you ever done the Spartan before?
I don't know if I have.
Well, I would just take your Green Beret patch from you if I could. Um,
All right. What's the combo?
okay, so it's 10 exercises performed for a minute apiece with 30 seconds break between. You do a minute of mountain climbers, a minute of goblet squats, weighted, of course, a minute of kettlebell swings.
Okay.
Then you do push-up rows. So you're doing a push-up and then you're doing a dumbbell row.
Yeah.
And then you do jump lunges.
Okay.
And then you do dumbbell bent over rows. And then you do dumbbell side lunges where you lunge to the side with the dumbbells.
Yeah.
You bend down and you touch the dumbbells to the ground. And you do T push-ups where you do a push-up and then you pivot on one arm and you open up with dumbbell in your hand and the other arm.
Okay.
I call them the T push-up. There's probably another technical name for them. And then you do, doggone it, you do something else, and then you end up with standing military presses with the dumbbells. So
Okay.
a minute on each one of those. All you really need is a pair of 25-pound dumbbells to do this workout,
Oh yeah.
and then a stopwatch.
Yep.
Except that so today he called it like a super Spartan. So we had a whole team, we had a whole platoon out there running with us. Everybody had dumbbells. We're out there in the middle of the grass. We ran 2 laps as a team. Came in, boom, fell right into our exercises. Ran through all 10 exercises. Took off as a group for another 2 laps. And then did this. You do that whole circuit twice.
Oh, that's cool.
And then when we finished the second circuit, we capped it off with another 2 laps, which makes for a mile.
Okay.
So you ran a mile and then you did the Spartan. I'll email it to you. It's a badass workout.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So anyways, here we are. Well, you got some quotes. You're going to talk about some in Arete?
Yeah, I was gonna highlight some Arate stuff, but
Okay.
yeah, what's the first quote you want to kick off with?
All right. So my first quote is this. Here's my quote. He says this: take the chances in life. Be willing to risk.
Hey, Drew, can you
Take.
start over? I'm gonna blow you up. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Okay. He says this: take the chances in life. Be willing to risk. To chase your dreams. And once you reach whatever you seek, dream again and again. And to the day that you die, and those dreams are replaced with a peace that rules your soul. And then he said, never let regret and anger at the world replace the dreams of a better you. All right, let me peel that apart a little bit. Let me tell you why that spoke to me. Um, Obviously, being in prison, the life that we were living, we were taking chances, but we took all the wrong chances. My little post-it note. We were taking chances, but we took all the wrong chances. I was listening to people, but I was listening to all the wrong people. So this, first and foremost, when he says take the chances in life, be willing to risk. If you really want to have a life worth remembering, if you really want to, have great stories to tell your children and grandchildren, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. And man, I'm sweating. At one point here, he says, "Don't fear death. Fear death by a life of mediocrity, where you just die, never really striving or achieving anything. You never reach your full potential." But he says, "Take the chances in life. Be willing to risk, to chase your dreams, and once you reach whatever you seek, dream again and again until the day you die, and those dreams are replaced with the peace that rules your soul. Never let regret and anger at the world replace the dreams of a better you." And I live in an environment where it's easy for guys to feel like we've been robbed of something in life. The world has robbed us, situations, circumstances have robbed us, but really we just robbed ourselves. But still, even in this situation I'm in here in life, man, I am surrounded by nothing but opportunity. But I have to be willing to chase it. I have to be willing to get up and do the work. I got to be willing to get up and establish the habits that are going to align me with the dreams of a better me. But the thing that'll stop it is, um, just like you said here, regret and anger at the world. So things that, like, when you feel like, oh man, I just didn't get this in life or whatever, like that anger, that hurt, that displacement, all it's going to do is push you out of alignment with not only a better you, but the dreams that you really want. You never get to where you want to go being angry and resentful.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because you can quickly
That's my
get
first quote.
yeah, you can quickly get in a rut, get distracted, um, and anger never pays off, you know,
No,
and
ever.
so and you might hey might second guess yourself with a little bit of regret, but you got to flush that emotion out of there, and you got to move on to
Yeah.
pushing towards the future. I think that last week when we were talking, it's like maintaining the hunger, never giving up, and keep on driving on, and
Yeah.
keep on, building dreams.
Yeah. Dream again.
Yep, and
Keep
dream.
dreaming.
You never stop. That really resonates with me. I like, yeah, one of the big things. This sort, okay, so you highlighted that, keep on dreaming, keep on dreaming. One of the things I love about Brian Johnson and the concepts that he introduced to me is the importance of, today's the day, make it a masterpiece. And you think about it, that, our life is in a unit of days. That's our unit of life. And how many of those do we have? I calculated it out once and said, like, okay, if I live, 80 years old, I'm going to have this many days, and this is how many of those days I got left. And I even put that in like a little counter that was on my phone. And I'm like, wow,
Jeez.
think about that. Every day that flips on by, and sometimes they go by like this, are you trying to make that a day where you're making a difference? You're trying to make it a masterpiece, where you're trying to improve yourself, improve the lives of people around you, ingrain good habits, get rid of bad habits. And Brian in his book talks about, one of his entries, and he has 451 entries. 451 because that's uh, the temperature, the amount of kinetic energy that's required to make fire. And you want to have a life that is like a raging fire. You don't want to be like a little whimpering little candle, flame that can get blown out. You want to be like a raging fire that is impervious to rain and wind, and it's really actually, it's doing things. But the crux though is, there's lots of things that you have to do to try to make yourself better over time. And 451 just is the number that of good ideas that Brian packaged in this book, and that's why it's so thick. Okay, so today's the day. Make today a masterpiece is like one of his ideas. Another one is carpe diem. That saying was made famous with Robin Williams, in Dead Poet Society, and that's always a saying that I always resonated with me, and it actually came from a saying of pluck the day. It's like pluck the fruit of the day, make the best of the day. But in today's culture, it's really seize the day, like make the best of your day. And so I think those two concepts resonate. But another thing that Brian introduces is he says carpe punctum, seize the moment. It's not just a day, but you actually have thousands of moments during a day. And are you present? And are you making the best of those moments? And so to me, I think that's really key to do in life. Otherwise, it's going to flip on by you faster than fast if you're not paying attention.
All right, man. What's your quote? What do you got? You want to share something out of RJ? You just reflected back on my quote. You peeled it apart. I like that analysis.
Oh, that was my.
I'll tell you something about Kirk Cousins at the end of this visit, but go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't quote it. Those are like three concepts that Brian had out of his book that I wanted to share.
Oh, okay. Okay, hey, so listen, Kirk Cousins, the professional quarterback.
Yeah.
And I read this amazing story about him. The dude's a solid man of faith, great character. But anyways, at the beginning of every year, he buys this like glass jar full of 365 river rocks, all beautiful and unique in and of themselves. And every single day he plucks one of those rocks out of there and sets it on a mantle, sets it on the kitchen counter, sets it somewhere where he's going to see it. And the concept is this is this day represents that rock, and this is the only day throughout this year that I'm going to see that rock, and that's why this day has to count. That's why this day has to be memorable. I thought it was just a really interesting, unique way to mark the day and say, hey man, today's a gift. I know, it's like carpe diem, saying today's a gift. It's so beat to death at every high school and college graduation. Yeah. Carpe diem, that we forget the really rich wisdom that's hidden there inside. Okay, man, my second quote, this is from Thomas Plummer again. This is the Thomas Plummer day. He said, often asking for help when we think we have it all figured out reminds us that not only do we not have all the answers, we don't even know the freaking questions. And I just think that's important in our life. The funny thing, had like this deep philosophical conversation with my boss and a couple of my coworkers this week. And if my boss is watching this, shout out to Doug. Can't wait to do this tiling job for you, so when you come back from vacation, this whole bathroom is tiled for you. But anyway, so we're all scrambling. We're in this conversation, and we're all scrambling to have the right answer. And myself too, I'm quoting the Bible, and we're trying to talk about the purpose and meaning of life and marriage and what is natural to man or unnatural to man. And I walked away from that conversation thinking that, one, I didn't really reflect really my honest desire, which is the reason why I'm on this quest for knowledge and truth or wisdom or following God, because at the end I really have just a deep sense, a deep desire really, not a deep sense, but a deep desire in my life that at the end of my life that I would be remembered as a good man. That's why do I want to be successful? Why do I want to make money in real estate and business and all these kind of plans we have? It's not just to have the things, it's for the things that I can do with the things and what legacy that would leave. But here's the thing in all of that. In my quest to have the answers and the solutions in my life, the one thing I have to keep reminding myself is that I really don't even know the questions. And sometimes we evade the questions and cling to our answers, but it's really in embracing and locating the right questions for your life that helps you to get the right answers for your life. Being in a place, and he starts out this quote, he says, often asking for help when we think we have it all figured out reminds us that not only do we not have all the answers, we don't even know the questions. And so, hey, tomorrow I'm going to get back to tiling this bathroom, and sometimes my boss is all over me, and I'm like, hey, I got this. Train me. No, the real master is always searching for the right question, because the right question will lead you in the direction that you need to go. But when you get to the point where you won't allow yourself to embrace the questions of life, I don't think you ever come to the right conclusions. Then it's like this. It's like stopping at a 6th grade education, because you're like, hey, I've taken enough tests. I don't want to be tested anymore. But we know, right, that a kid that's in the 6th grade has many, many more years of more tests and more quizzes, more questions, more subjects that they need to be challenged with.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
That? You're kind of quiet. What do you think?
I think that's pretty good. The I think there's an aspect of it's important to be humble, and that and I think when I was younger, there used to always say there's like a circle of knowledge, and as you live your life, you keep on pushing out the edges as you learn and experience more and more, and it gets bigger and bigger. But then all it does is just expose you that there's actually more out there outside of the circle that you don't know. So the more you learn, the more you get. It's like the unknown becomes actually bigger, and it's really important to have that humility and to always be trying to seek better understanding, and you really need that understanding to play your game well. And if you play your game well, then you can meet your potential, and if you meet your potential, then you can better serve others. So I think that's where I like your analogy of, hey, that sort of gets us going. That's sort of our drive, right? That's our purpose. And Brian Johnson has this in his monikers. So the one I want to highlight, and I think it relates to this, right? Down here on the bottom of this thing, it says, move from theory to practice to mastery, right? And you never finish that journey. But I think that, your desire to, pursue understanding and knowledge and experience, a lot of that can even be in the theory space. And you're saying, hey, how do I do this? How do I apply the concrete and spread it over the tiles so the tiles are even, and how do I put in the little spacers and all that crap, right? Well, he's talking you through that, and then you're practicing it. You're on your journey to mastery, but do you ever finish that? You're always consistently refining and improving, and it can be everything from tiling to communicating to loving to sharing, all of life. And I think that's a great journey to acknowledge and try to pursue. And so one of the great ways that I think that Brian says that you should approach that life journey, theory to practice to mastery, is he recommends 3 lines of effort. And he says that it should be the pursuit of maximizing your energy, because everything in life is all about energy. And he says then you should maximize your love, the relationships that you have with others, and then you need to have some sort of craft or work. So it's energy, love, and work, because that's where you're going to make a difference in the world. The funny thing is, for me, is that ELW, that's my actual initials, Eric Laird Walker. So to me, that's pretty funny that it lines up that way.
Look at that divine connection.
Yeah, but then, the one thing I would add there that I think he's missing, because it's energy, love, work, to do well in those 3 spaces, you need wisdom. So I actually think it's ELW squared. And because you actually need to invest time and energy into enhancing your wisdom to the learning process. And you do it in all 3 of these spaces, but you also need to just do it for overall life. So anyways, there's my Brian Johnson food for thought, but
Man,
with a permutation.
phenomenal. Phenomenal. So we're getting ready for this API event, Asian Pacific Islander. I am the number one token white guy in this whole dance thing going on. Dude, I wish we could film it. I wish I could put it up for everybody to see. I've been probably dancing with the APIs for like 15 or 17 years here in the system. I love it.
Yeah.
But we went and had this practice last night, and it was kind of chaotic, and there was really a lack of leadership. And the older I get, the more frustrated I get with that.
Yeah.
The same can be true at work. The same can be true in many different areas of my life. You know. And I just grabbed my other quote, my last quote. But we ended up making the most of it. The dance practice ended up going good. Some people were kind of dicking off, but me and a select group of people were staying focused because we have this event to do in like 2 months.
Yeah.
But the quote in less than 2 months. So the quote's this: "Not my zoo, not my monkeys. No, it's not my zoo, and these are not my monkeys. Don't allow everyone's problems to become your own."
Yep.
And to me, that just speaks of, that's a wisdom token about the balance. That just, you can't get so overly invested at, how I want things to go my way. This is my vision for the workout. I remember I clashed with Owen, the colonel, the other colonel. You're, my colonel, but. I clash with him in workouts because I have a tendency that I have a vision for how something can go, and I become very rigid and inflexible with it. And things don't always go that way. And you have to be adaptable.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, hey man, it's not my zoo. These are not my monkeys. Meaning that, hey, I'm not in charge of everybody. Just because I showed up doesn't mean I'm in charge of everything going on here. The only thing I'm in charge of is me, my own attitude, the energy that I put out. And if I start putting out frustrated energy, and then people start reflecting back to me that, hey, guess what? That's on me. It's not on them. But, for so many years, I'd see just like, oh, man, look, they're pissing me off. But I'm already going into the situation frustrated with it. So don't allow everybody's problems to become my own. The way I approach a problem determines whether or not it becomes my problem.
Yep.
So I have one person I'm in charge of today. This guy right here. And obviously, living in prison, man, can be chaotic.
Yeah.
Things could piss me off every 10 minutes if I let it. But remember, man, I'm not in control of the universe, and even in the frustration, God is building me in that. I'm not. I can't determine like what happens to me, but I can determine how I respond to it. And I haven't always been the best at that.
Hey, that's that is really a critical aspect of leadership that I'm glad you're facing right now. Before you get out, because you just have to you have to figure out where it is your lane of responsibility versus it might be a collective. And then you want to, if you're going to contribute to the collective, you don't want to be tainting the punch bowl, You want to actually be value added. Even if the other people have a bad attitude, then that means the way you engage the punch bowl probably needs to be with some sugar, not the spice. And so you just got to figure out what the environment is, and then adjust and adapt so that you can get there. I think that the adaption crucible is the key, right? In a perfect world, you want to anticipate what that crucible looks like. You want to prepare. You want to have everything organized. You want to plan. And when you get in there, then you got to be ready, because the environment might not be what you thought it was going to be, and then you got to be able to adapt. But if you did prepare and you did anticipate, it's going to be much easier for you to then, leverage the situation to success. If you didn't do that, and so you can't just wing life. But hey, the funny thing about that quote.
For me, giving up early, having my mindful meditation, reading my Bible, drinking my coffee, stretching, doing some yoga. The more I can implement that in my day, the more I'm going to approach my day with a better attitude.
Yeah.
Better mindset, more adaptable. Sorry, I interrupted you, but.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What did you think about the willpower doesn't work because Benjamin Hardy talks about that. The importance of journaling and setting your day straight and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, okay, so the book, okay, here's a little preview to everybody. The next book that we're going to be talking about is another one in the Benjamin Hardy collection, Willpower Doesn't Work. And I think it's everything. He's saying it's not just, yes, okay, it is about willpower to some degree, but it's about environmental design. And you know what I do? If I want to take my vitamins, I make sure that I set them all out in a nice little cup early in the morning. I
Yep.
make sure that I have water right there. I establish that environment, which helps propel me right into the habit that I want.
Yep.
Same thing, I set my coffee out, I set my vitamins out, my water out. I have my yoga mat right there because I'm going to be doing some stretching. It's 4:45, 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes. And I have to design my little tiny prison cell. I have to design my environment to set me up for the habits I want, or basically to be the person I want to be.
Yep.
And so he's saying, even in the larger scope, when it comes to time for me to being a husband, or being a father, a business owner, or an investor, whatever it is, my environment needs to reflect the habit desires that I have in my life to reach those goals. And that's absolutely true. If I want to be a patient in control, I don't want to react. I want to respond. I have to learn how to build that into my personality framework early, because instinctually it doesn't come to me. I
Yeah.
react. I get frustrated. I get upset. I get offended.
Yep.
That's terrible. The spirit of offense.
Yep.
Anyways, 38 seconds left. Last thought to you, and then tell everybody how they can get hold of us.
All right. I think you said instead of reacting, I want to respond. I like the idea of instead of reacting, hey, let's create. Let's create the
Yeah, same
environment you
letters.
want, right? Same words or same letters, different words. ColonelAndConvict.com. It's great to talk to you, Drew. I love
Yeah,
sharing these
brother.
ideas. These ideas are almost endless, and I think we're gonna have a great future sharing them.